Hello everyone, welcome to my podcast Divinely Guided. My name is Nicola Green. I'm a spiritual advisor, mentor, author and healer. And today I've got the amazing lady Lisa Clifford, who's an high performance speaker and trainer. Welcome Lisa.
Hello lovely.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. So today Lisa, our title is Igniting the Heart. So let's just have a little bit of a background about what it is that you do and who you work with.
So, I'm not taking you too far back, but 15 years ago, I did sales for hotel groups. Loved it, but I read a book and it was a life coaching book. First one I'd ever read, and a question that was a catalyst for my change was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? So with that, I just emptied my heart onto a piece of paper. What am I totally fascinated in? You know, what if I couldn't fail, what would I dare to believe I could study, learn, even set up as my business? And what came out of it was I was fascinated with the mind, but really I was fascinated in people's incredible human potential. So I studied with the best in the world, my opinion, and became a coach, master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis. And then I was running workshops and I thought, these people are setting goals, but I'm not seeing a shift that's going to help them believe that they can do this goal that either they've been wanting to do for years, or it's a big goal that they want to do in the future, and can I see something in them that's going to enable them to do it? And a little voice in my head said, be a firewalking instructor.
Yeah.
And another voice said, don't be stupid, you're too short.
Wow.
And so I then researched, if I was going to take people of a red hot coals, fundamentally reshaping their mindset, their belief of what is possible for them, then I'm going to train with the best. I mean, there were some courses I could do over a weekend, but I thought, no, I'm not really that sure that that's going to be to the level of understanding that I want to be at to support people. So I trained with the originator, Peggy Dillon, who brought firewalking into westernised culture 15 years ago, and became a master practitioner and then became an instructor of instructors. But what I love about the firewalking, in conjunction with the coaching, the training, the mindset, everything I've learned about the mind, is it ignites people's hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fire has a way of making us all equal, and it requires very little from us except for us to be completely and utterly present and to move with respect. And I just love the lesson the fire brings out in us. So that in a nutshell, that's what I do. Who and how I do it is I work with companies who have this team that they think, they've got so much potential, I just wish I could unlock it. And they need something that shows them just how incredible they are. And then I also work with individuals, people who might not be in a company, that want to feel a sense of empowerment, a sense of belief, so they can maybe set up their own business, or maybe go travelling around the world, or maybe feel ready for a relationship. So whatever is in someone's heart, we look at unlocking. Because when people, as you know, Nicola, when people are fulfilled from the heart, they're quite remarkable in the way that they succeed, but also how they interact with other people.
So when people come and see you, is there like a theme that you've recognised, the type of energy that's drawn towards your work?
Yes, I would say the people that come on a one-to-one basis to see me, whether it's on a firewalk or one of the workshops or coaching, they're sick of, and probably sick is the right word, sick of doing the same old, and they're ready for something new. Sometimes they don't know what that is. They just know that the way that they've been walking through life at the moment isn't exactly how they want to continue in the future. And so they're ready for I see some remarkable things on the firewalk where, part of the firewalk is where we set a goal for the future. What is it that you would love to be, do, or have in your life the future? And what I noticed amongst people is they don't know, because we've become so conditioned to just get up, get to work, be glad you've got a job, pay the bills, get home, have a couple of nice holidays a year. And beyond that has become a bit almost selfish to think beyond it. So when I say, if you could be, do, or have anything, if anything was possible, what would you wish for yourself? It almost freezes their mind as if, oh gosh, I don't know what the answer is. And I see, and even in businesses, I do see, at least in 95% of people, a feeling of, oh, that question's too big, or I've never thought about it. And I think that's down to our conditioning of, our upbringing of, some of those metaphors. Money doesn't grow on trees, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Higher you climb, the harder you fall, all those kind of things. And those have become subliminal limitations in the way that we live that just becomes our behaviour. So when people come to see me, I'm breaking through some of those, and we're also stepping into what we dare to dream. I see people on the firewalks think, oh gosh, I'm about to set a goal and I've got no idea, and all of a sudden their heart is heard through their mind and think, oh, I'll work on that. I'd love to manifest that in my life. And clearing the noise out. I bet you've experienced that with the people that come to you, is being comfortable with quiet. So the heart can be heard. I feel like the heart is our compass of where we're meant to be, and not meant to be, but what's available for us to experience in life. And because we're so busy with, our texting, Facebook, watching something as we're on the bus on YouTube or whatever it is, we've become very uncomfortable with silence, and only once there's some silence can we listen to what we really want. And I know you're a massive advocate of meditation, where we still the mind so we can hear the expression of the heart, and then we can be guided through the heart into all the conversations, achievements, ambitions that we want. And so that becomes less about keeping up with other people, or that should, having goals that we should have, like I should pay the mortgage off, or I should have a new car, or I should, because all the should things are about other people. But when we quieten the mind, it becomes about our path and what's right for us. And if we're in a job in a company, it's about, well, how do I want to experience this job in this company? How do I stay true to me, working in a way that I thrive?
So you said earlier about you worked with people before that without the fire, and they were always like a limitation. What's the difference, and what does the fire do? What is the power of the fire? And have you seen, when you transitioned and used the fire, did you find that it was more powerful for getting in touch with that heart space? Completely. We have limiting beliefs. We have beliefs that we live by, some work for us, and we only know the ones that are limiting are the ones that are not working for us, by us not stepping into things that we truly want, not feeling comfortable with certain situations. And so then we recognise that those limiting beliefs are just thoughts, but they've become proven true over the years of keeping us safe, or our perspective in the way that we choose to see things. And what the fire does is defies logic. It defies logic. The other thing it does is it proves a belief that we've been brought up with as wrong. So one of the early things we're taught as children is, don't go near the fire, it burns. Those of us that grew up with coal fires, or even a gas flame without the protected grid. Don't go near the fire, it burns, and those kind of things. And so we're instantly taught fire burns. So what I teach is, if there's a way, and it's not a trick or a gimmick, it's a way of the way that we think and the way that we hold our heart. If we can even walk on fire and not burn our feet,
what else has our mind tried to keep us safe from that it no longer needs to? So what other beliefs have we lived as a truth that can actually be revealed as just being a thought that's held us back? So it kind of works as it frees people from their limited thoughts that are overdoing their job at keeping people safe. Knowing that the mind's job is ultimately, its priority is ultimately to keep us safe and protected and alive. Happiness and freedom and all those things are ingredients that we have to do the work on ourselves. It's not our unconscious mind's job to do. And so, bearing in mind that everything that we've ever seen, touched, tasted, felt, heard, smelt, up until the age of 7 has gone straight into our unconscious mind and has formed our belief system, therefore has then created our perspective on how we see the world and then where we fit in with that. And so we live with this idea of what life is rather than what it actually is through our own filters. And what the fire does is it kind of flattens all the restrictions down.
So it breaks through the beliefs. Because they're doing something that really pushes them out of the comfort zone.
Completely. And there's something quite spiritual that happens as well. There's a nourishment, a transformation that happens that doesn't need to go through the conscious mind. It works on a cellular level, that all our memories are stored in our cells and our body, and that's how we have muscle memory. And so the same with any of the experiences we have. If we've experienced something or even visualized it, we've got a memory of it in our body. And some of the things that have restricted us in our lives are hardwired into not just from our brain, but into our physical being. And then when you walk over fire, you have a physical experience of what you're truly capable of being. Not necessarily always about what you're capable of doing, but how you can be.
Does the fire then, do you feel like, you spoke about it being a spiritual experience, does it give a glimpse through that door of true potential?
I think that's a good question. I think that people don't recognise their true potential by somebody saying, "Oh, Nicola, you've got so much potential." And you think, well, that's great. And then we feel nothing, don't we? When somebody says it, we think that's very lovely of you. We feel nothing. But when you walk over the coals, you see for yourself what you're capable of, and then you see your own potential. And only once you can see your own potential can it be activated for you to be drawn into. It's like a magnet. It's like on the other side of the coals is a magnet, and the magnet within you is just drawn towards them. But the other side of the coals represents who you are without limitation. And so you feel drawn into experiencing things in life without limitation. Or at least if one comes up, you think, oh, that's just a thought. I walked on fire. It was hot. I walked on fire. And what did I do to walk on it? I aligned my mind and I aligned my heart, and I walked forward with purpose and intention. I wasn't distracted. I wasn't asking people, does my bum look big on this fire?
Although there may be some that will be conscious of that.
I wasn't worried, do I look stupid? I was so in the now, which is where my power is, and my business being Power for Success, which is all about how do I unlock my true power, my confidence, my belief, my awareness, my self-worth, my self-belief, my confidence. How do I unlock all of that so I can be like a power grid, ready to be resourceful to move forward? And so the fire helps you see what you are truly capable of and your potential. And once you see it for yourself, you can't unsee it. And once you have the experience, you become your own. What I love about it is this, that you become your own source of inspiration. You don't need to go and see, other people for you to be inspired about who they are and what they do. That you're it yourself. It's absolutely a remarkable experience to put your feet on red hot coals and walk over and have one of the most fundamental beliefs turned on its head.
Yeah.
Because what else can be turned on its head?
Yeah. And I've actually experienced the fire walk with you,
You
Lisa,
have.
and it was amazing. I mean, I came across you online. A friend had put it up and I just knew that I had to go. But what I did find on that day, it was almost like you prepared people. It wasn't just, let's just walk on fire. You spoke earlier about, intention and purpose. Can you just talk to me about that?
Yeah, well, unless we have an intention, we're just mindlessly on autopilot going about things. Intention brings our mind to what's the outcome that I want to achieve from this? How do I want to experience it? And what is the purpose of that outcome? So when we have intention and purpose, we have an inner connection from the heart. And then only then can something mean something to us. So if you imagine that you're going to work, you've got a job to do, the series of actions that you've got to do on a daily basis that you're being paid for, but actually what's the outcome? If you could have any outcome that you wanted from your day's actions, what would the outcome be? Not what do you forecast it to be, but what would you love it to be? What would you love customers to be saying about you? What would you love patients to be saying? What would you love them to be experiencing? What difference would you love to be making? Whatever somebody's job is, usually there's a human on the other side that benefits. And so then when you think about what the outcome is, then why is that valuable to you? And that's the purpose. The purpose is, what does that mean to me about me? Why is it important that I do this? And when that's connected, so on the firewalk, we might set some life goals, dreams that people have thought, well, one day I'd like to do that. And then we give shape to it and colour to it. We do some visualisation. And once the mind has visualised, it doesn't distinguish between visualising and experiencing. So it feels like it's already lived it. So there's a part of the mind that thinks this is possible already. And and then when you work out why that's important to you, why you deserve it, why you're worthy of it, then you own it. And that's the O in Power for Success. The P is picture it. The O is to own it. Why is it mine?
So in a way, you ignite the possibility in others.
Completely. That's a lovely way of putting it.
Yeah, that's how I just thought.
And then when you come to walk on the fire, what you're holding in your heart and your mind is that goal, that outcome, as though you're in the success of it and knowing that your heart's aligned with it, that possibility. And you walk over. Now, the W in power is will, the commitment. And so there's something quite fabulous about being committed enough that you would even walk over red hot coals for your goal. And the E in power is entrust yourself, believe in yourself. So walking over is a sign of incredible belief, but we've also broken through our limiting beliefs in the workshop beforehand. And then the R in power is the results. What's the result? And it doesn't need to be a result as in X amount of revenue or having become an author. It can be, who am I now? What is possible for me now? That's an amazing result. If we're affected in the way that we're being of what we see as what is possible, then that's a pretty amazing result. It can be tangible. It can be a relationship. It can be a new business. It can be being an author. That can all be part of the result. But I think the most magical part of any result is, who am I being now? And do I see my own extraordinariness? That extraordinariness. So the purpose and intention is the key. Yeah. As you quite brilliantly asked a moment ago, is the key to igniting your heart and walking over fire, or even being a participant, whether you walk over or not. When you witness somebody doing it, something shifts within you. You're part of the energy that made that happen.
Yeah.
Because we're never. I was talking to a wonderful lady last week. We were talking about how when we bring ourselves to a collective, even if we say that we are unbiased, that we're not biased, we do affect the energy of a collective, even with just our presence, whether we're contributing or doing nothing. Nothing is still an energy. And so when people come on the firewalk, nobody knows that they're going to walk on fire until they're stood at the front of that path and they feel like this feels right for me now. And even those that show up thinking that they're going to, they get in the front of that fire and think, oh, I'm not sure, I thought I was going to. And then they wait till something just helps carry them across. It's a knowing that isn't in the head, it's in the body. And you don't know until you're there, and that's what's wonderful about listening to your inner compass. But whether you go over or you don't go over, you do have the same impact of seeing what is possible, and you can't unsee what is possible. Yeah. So you don't actually have to be going over the fire. As long as you're honouring what's right for you, then whatever action you take will be quite dynamic.
And what have you learned about yourself running these firewalks?
Oh, it's a really good question. So before I ran them, before I was trained with Peggy, I was very heady. I also was very fiercely independent and felt like, yes, it's mind over matter. And if I want something, I'll go for it. And, that quite almost ego, I would say. And I'm not saying this is the case for all people that speak like this, but that kind of mind over matter, fake it till you make it, very, heady. And what I learned was the heart. The heart is more powerful than the head. And if we are wise, we will align our mind with our heart. So our heart will hopefully influence the mind, and the mind will interpret what the heart wants, which is really the soul, isn't it? And our inner wisdom. So the mind will interpret that and give us the right action, the right behaviour, the right communication to honour that.
So what can people do, say they weren't going on a firewalk, to honour the heart? What would you say?
Well, before we did this podcast, we were talking, weren't we, about the idea of meditating.
Yeah.
But even if meditation feels like an action, I would say be still. Just take 5 minutes a day to be absolutely still, because we get caught up in other people's slipstreams, don't we? The kind of other people's busyness, other people's demands, other people's ideas. We can get caught up in what other people are thinking and wanting and needing from us, and we put ourselves second. So I would say, if you can, sit really quietly in a space that feels nourishing and quieten the mind.
Yeah.
Somehow quieten the mind, put the phone away, and really listen to what your heart feels drawn to. Now, it might show you through images. Yeah. It might show you through an old dream you once had that you wanted to achieve. It might show you through a person that I want to get in touch with that person. It might give you a memory. But I think if we can sit for 5 minutes and just listen to our heart, and then see what it brings into our mind's awareness.
Yeah. And would you do that every day?
Yeah. Every day. I do my own practice every day of, I guess what I do is I sit, close my eyes, I imagine that my head's got a sunroof. This is in Lisa speak.
Yeah, okay, go on.
My head's got a sunroof and there's a light coming straight down into me, and I fill my whole body with the light. And it's almost as though when I do it, I'm clearing out judgment, I'm clearing out lack of self-worth, I'm clearing out guilt, I'm clearing out shame, I'm shining up self-belief and confidence and care and love, and then just doing a bit of a reset for the day and thinking, right, okay, now that I am not dragging old baggage, maybe from habit, knowingly or unknowingly, around with me, and that I feel like I've freshened, given my mind a job to do and just said, look, I want to just be clear for today. I want to stand in my power. Again, power not being about beating my chest, I'm coming through, mate way. Power being
only sometimes. Yeah.
But right. Power being that I'm not diminishing myself consciously or unconsciously. And so that I've just given my mind a job to do, just to reset, and then moving through the day in a way that is clean and healthy and without my filters. We all see things through filters, don't we? Yeah. So one filter could be everybody loves me, and therefore you move through the world looking at people and somebody says hello and you nod back, and then actually they've said hello to a person behind you, but because you think everyone loves you, that was definitely somebody saying hello to you. Right, yeah. Or somebody saying go in front of me at the supermarket and you say everybody loves me. Or you see the world through thinking a filter of people are deliberately getting in my way, so people not letting you out roundabout. You only see that, you don't see the car that let you through, that doesn't count. And so it does our mind good just to declog those filters. I mean, if we go into our washing machine, into our dishwasher, and we took that filter out and washed it out in the sink each time because I know if I leave mine a week, all I've got is that old stuff that's come off my plates going around all the plates for a week to come. But if I clean it, there's fresh water, my plates are clean, and it's pure, and the same goes with our minds. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a bit of a strange metaphor, but
I'm thinking
it's
about
a visual
I need to clean
one.
My dishwasher filter I
think
out
I might have been,
thank you for
I might
that.
have been generous with myself and said it was a week ago I cleaned it. It might be a month ago. My mind gets
at least
a better
you clean it. That's the
main thing.
Yeah. So, what is the one quote that you go by?
Well, there's two.
Two, right, yeah.
Living life without fear is like jumping off a cliff and growing wings on the way down. Oh, I love that. That's that Richard Branson who said that wasn't by Richard Branson, but Richard Branson says if somebody asks you to do something you're not sure if you can do it, say yes and you'll learn how to quite quickly, because we've got the motivation and the fuel and the drive to learn. And the other thing I love is Marianne Williamson's piece that then became Nelson Mandela's inaugural speech, which is our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, is that we are powerful beyond measure. And so it goes. And I truly believe that we find a reason to justify things when things seem too good to be true. We look for how can where's the catch, don't we? But if we believed in that we were powerful beyond measure, I think that frightens people. Yeah. Because who would I be if I was powerful beyond measure? It's easier through our conditioning to correct our faults than to live in the belief of we are powerful beyond measure. Yeah. And that is what the fire walk proves to people, is that they are powerful beyond measure, and therefore what is their potential.
So what is your legacy, Lisa?
I want to be the drop in the ocean that created the ripple effect in my little world of helping people remove the limitations of what they believe, therefore what they see, and then how they live their lives, that they are able to bring able to dream and then to live within that reality of that dream. And I'm not looking at changing the world, but just my little zone. Fantastic. Would be lovely.
And I'm sure you've touched many lives and transformed many people's lives. You're just being humble about that.
I have.
Yes.
Or should I say, I've facilitated people doing it for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does that feel?
I can't put it into words. Whenever I see people have breakthroughs on the fire or in coaching sessions or in the seminars, I look at them, I think, what an amazing capacity you've got, and I want to help keep the belief in what they've achieved alive. But when I go home, I lay on the sofa almost with a damp flannel on my forehead in a darkened room and think, I can't believe what I witnessed today, what I supported today, and what I was able to be part of. How can I put that into words? And so I just have to feel it and be with it. So I rarely, once I've done something like that, I rarely go out for dinner or anything afterwards or see friends, because I want to just hold the space of what has happened and what continues to happen for people way beyond the session. So it feels like a dream come true and a gift.
Wow.
No short answers with me, so I'm really sorry.
Are you living your passion?
I'm absolutely living it. Yeah. Absolutely living it. And I feel so humbly committed to it that it's not about money. Obviously, we've all got to, live in the system, pay the mortgage, put food on my table and feed the dogs and walk the dogs. But I'm unapologetically committed to it.
Fantastic. So how can people get in touch with you, Lisa? How can they find you?
My website, which has lots of little videos on, lots of little Lisa tips on.
Motivational, amazing. Yeah.
is powerforsuccess.co.uk.
Okay.
And my name's lisaclifford.co.uk. Takes you to the same website. Just depends which one's easiest to remember.
Yeah. Oh, it's been absolutely amazing talking
Thank
to you, Lisa.
you.
And you are my first guest on my Divinely Guided podcast, so thank you for honouring that space for me. I'm sure you'll all agree, Lisa is amazing and there's some great nuggets in there. Again, if you want to contact Lisa, you can contact her through her website. If you've got any questions and feedback about today's show, please leave me a message. But I'd like to say thank you for listening today.